Okay, Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, I'm up on your roof. The leak is coming straight down from the inside along this corner. Okay, there's a couple of things making that happen. Number one, when I see this, I see that leader pipe coming right out there in the corner, okay? Spilling all that water is going to gush right out of there, right into that corner, right over it, right? Now, just look at what this leader pipe is handling here. Okay, here's the gutter, that little gutter. Okay, and here's the leader pipe. And here's the rest of the gutter. So, everything from there, here, and all of this whole entire roofscape, up to this valley and about there, comes into this gutter. So that's a heck of a lot of water coming out of that spot. That's no good. That leader pipe needs to be extended past the corner, so it's not gushing water right into the corner where the flashing is trying to make a turn, which is also the most difficult place to flash. So that's just a no-no right there. The other thing I see right above it is you have holes through the shingle. Okay, you have holes through the shingle that I noticed, but I noticed that somebody put a piece of shingle underneath there, and I yanked out that nail. There was a nail that was sitting there that just went right through the shingle, and there's a hole there too. So that's a leak. It's not a very big leak, but it's a leak, and somebody knew it was there because they tried to put a piece of shingle underneath here that don't belong. The other thing I'm noticing is that the way they installed the roof is not in a staircase method like the manufacturer recommends. Instead, they installed it like you would install an old 3-tab strip shingle, which is 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the right. You know, so when you do this, you get a seam on seam. See, there's the seam, there's the seam, there's the seam, and all the way down you can see all the seams of the shingles. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a staircase method here. So everywhere I'm looking at these seams, it's right above that corner as well. So as I look underneath these seams, I shouldn't see any fasteners anywhere near these seams. If I see a fastener near the seam, then that fastener's getting wet. And in this instance, look at this. They just put this little piece of shingle there. See? That's a cut. Somebody did that with their knife, actually. It was probably just a scratch back then, which turned into a big... But there's a nail right under there. And that nail's getting wet. You see the rust on it? So this is what I look for. Now all the way down, I find more and more and more until I get to the bottom. Now when I finally get to this bottom here, I'm going to slide back down. It's a little steep. And then here's what I saw. Now I told you all that water's gushing out of this pipe, right? Okay, so it's gushing all the way out of this pipe into this corner. Behind this corner here, if you could see, all the flashing is right there. See all the metal flashing with the Tyvek over the top of it? So that metal has to make a turn. It only goes up the wall, the A-far, number one. That's why the Tyvek's got to cover it. But when it makes that turn, there's a little pinhole there that needs to get caulked every time. You know, I mean, you can get away with not caulking it when you don't have an abundance of water, but this is just the situation that needs it. So when I look here, I'm seeing that needs to be dealt with. Number two, right above it, there's nails that are getting wet, that are blown through the shingle here, okay? Again, in this spot, here's where all the water's coming out, gushing out of there. Now look, there's a seam of a shingle right here. So that water is gushing underneath this shingle. So what's under that shingle? A giant space from a shingle that was cut wrong. Okay, there should have never been a seam there to begin with if there's going to be a leader pipe. But there's gushing water going right there. Once it's there, that's the tar paper. That's under the roof already. Now it just comes down and soaks everything along the way till it gets into your house. But as I look underneath the shingles on the way down, you know, I'm looking here, I don't see a nail. But what happens when I look here? I don't see a nail. Good. That's not leaking. This section's not leaking. Over here, you look under there, look what I see. There's a nail way blown through the shingle right there. That's a gusher. That nail right there. You can hardly see it, but it's there. That's a gusher. This nail's not getting wet hardly at all. See, it's nice and gold. So there's a bunch of leaks here, actually, going on. That's not so bad, except for the fact that you can't overlap your overlap facing the wall. In other words, the wall, you want the water to bounce away from the wall. It's bouncing away from the wall and going underneath the shingle. Fortunately enough for you, it's going away from the shingle and not getting into any areas of the house. It's just, I would have never did that. So I'm going to look at this corner. I'm going to seal up all those leaky nails, and that should get you out of the rain for now. Okay, but this was installed improperly, and that leader pipe definitely needs to get changed from that position, and that should alleviate your leak.